Hello world, Augustine Cortez coming live from Web3, and today was a very light day to document our blockchain learnings, but essentially covers two main areas. We got DeFi and I would say traditional finance. It's an aspect of how DeFi is shrinking into NFTs and where the mix of NFTs being considered securities comes into play. So DeFi is fractionalized token, the tokenomics, equity tokens or utility tokens, and then traditional finance with the SEC and the regulators coming on board and setting pause or regulation upon things. Right, with NFTs, they're so new, new innovation to the product gets constantly added. So regulation and laws don't have time to catch up. But with ICOs, regulators caught on and they labeled ICOs as securities, and ICOs had to pivot their narrative. And that led down the rabbit hole of learning about securities. My background isn't as strong in finance. I'm aware of, the common ground, the variables that lead to, the current infrastructure, where securities, trade, markets, and those type of aspects that lead to the circulation of capital within an economy. But I really wanted to dive into the anatomy of what gets considered a security and what can NFTs do to position themselves and not be called securities. And this led me down a rabbit hole. There's something called the Howie Test that SEC does, and it's a vetting system to decide if something is a security. So basically the process is, if this investment is leading people to believe that they're gonna convert their fiat money, their US dollar or their money, and expect profit, that is the core line of it being a security. The fact that people put in money and they expect to return a profit. There's a special case on crypto right now with a project called the DAO Turtles. I actually have one, and they were an interesting case because their Discord and their whole narrative was saying, oh, we're gonna rug this project. Like, they were blatantly doing it, but they were joking. It was an insider joke that they're saying they're gonna rug the project, and what ends up happening is someone from OpenSea joins the Discord and they see this narrative, and they get concerned, as they should, when they read some of the announcements that DAO Turtles were announcing, and they said that the users would receive profit through tokenization. So the fact that DAO Turtles stated that this is an investment where you will yield profit, it's no longer a utility token, or it's no longer a traditional purchase, it's now a security. So this violates OpenSea's policy, and DAO Turtles got delisted. People couldn't sell their turtles, and it was a pretty interesting case where the project, they updated the image to all the turtles have be behind the jail cell. Then they pivoted over. I think right now they're in the process of listing on Rarible. And there's an interesting process, right? They didn't let the project just say that's it, we can't do anything. They're looking for solutions. They are casting votes as a DAO for what's the process. And it's an interesting project overall, but the whole point of it, if it's being categorized as a security, what does that entail? And also, if you categorize your NFT in the form of equity, that is tying it to security. So there's a NFT project a while back that we really wanted to get into. Also now we're really looking into it. I believe it's called Video Game Dev Squad, and they were creating something called Coin Games, and this NFT would grant you some equity for the seed round. And this was several weeks back, where I didn't have this knowledge of, by them saying that they're putting their NFT into a security, which is illegal, and it isn't a good project, or if this gets looked under the hood, it's not a good move. So it's kind of interesting where you'll be in these positions, and if you don't know or you don't have due diligence to understand I would say the macro viewpoint, you could come across some challenges. And that's where I think NFTs have to have a fine line. I'm also reading right now in the book Mastering Ethereum on NFT, not necessarily NFTs, but tokens, right? Actually, this is important to describe. So what these DAOs or these NFT collections are doing that make their people view it as an investment is when you purchase an NFT, you can stake it and you can start receiving tokens. And these tokens are going to be based off speculative value, one. And then two is they usually purchase highly valuable NFTs, and then they fractionalize it. So imagine an NFT costs $100,000, and there's 10,000 collectors, and then those collectors receive the 10,000 or the $100,000 divided in a certain amount of tokens, and then each owner receives an X amount of token per day. And like by creating the cycle, more people want to get in, the floor increases, more royalties, and they can purchase more assets. So it creates like this flywheel effect of assets flying in and around, and it should yield, as passive income, because they are backing the tokens off an asset, which is the highly valuable NFT. And this process with DAOs, it's okay, like what's going on here? Are these tokens falling under equity, or are they falling under utility? Equity tokens fall under SEC guidelines as a security. So if you get equity tokens, like I mentioned, the Coin Games project, then you're buying an equity token, which is a security. And that means that that project has to let the SEC know that this is a security and I'm purchasing it. And SEC has very tight guidelines with investor policy. I believe you have to be an accredited investor to be purchasing any form of security in certain markets. Like angel investors, you got to reach a certain amount of net worth or have a salary of, I think it's over 200,000 collectively with their spouse for over 2 years. There's some checkpoints and milestones one has to reach to be an accredited investor to go into these securities. And NFTs are in like this really new middle ground, this new area that, the laws aren't there, but they're gonna come. The regulators just need time to catch up and start finding their way inside. So yeah, it's super interesting how the space evolves, like pretty much overnight. This process of tokenomics with an NFT is like only 2 weeks old, and it's yielding really good progress. And we're going to see where, actually I take that, it's not 2 weeks old. There is a major project, the CyberKongs, that have launched it for some time, but within these 2 weeks, there's been the projects adopting this at a massive scale. CyberKongs operate a bit different, but the narrative I said about the collection buying the asset, fractionalizing it, this is more around the two-week period. So yeah, and then to combat this, NFTs, the best position they can do is say, no, our token is under utilization. And that means like if you have the token, you get special access, you can use your NFT a certain type of way. For example, CyberKongs, what they do is they allow you to use a token to breed or to create a baby Kong, or you can rewrite the history of your NFT. And the fact that the token is under utilization, it doesn't clarify and state that this token is a security. So CyberKong is not saying, no, like you're not getting this token for the sake of expected profit. You're getting this token for you to use it. And excuse me, that's a double win because people want to use it, they want to burn it, and then the SEC is obviously saying, okay, it's not a security. Right, so that's the spiel, and this is very light. I only had a few hours today Today was one of my lightest days. I went outside and was out in nature. You know, this past entire couple weeks has been heads down, and it's really nice to get a day to unwind, especially go out in nature. You know, biologically, be around biophilia and get the exposure. Just relax. It's something that, you know, life is, or this process is a marathon and a sprint at the same time. So getting a little resting break is really progressive. But I did want to dedicate a good amount of time for that specific area of security and DeFi. It's something that we're going to be working on fairly soon. So it's best to start prepping up and get ready for, or know what to expect when we get to that point. All right, so I'm gonna keep it short. You know, this was Sunday, it was a light day, but I hope this is insightful, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you.